All right. Bitcoin is going up, man. Bitcoin's going up on a Wednesday. Crazy, crazy levels, man. It's not looking horrible. It's not looking horrible. That is for sure. It is definitely not looking horrible on Bitcoin. I'm liking what I'm seeing to a certain extent. We have a nice little liquidity curve on the way up, right? We will see. We will see what happens here. Gold pumping, silver pumping, switching both of those assets over to bullish sentiment, right? Because we now have market structure shifts to the upside on the 1 hour chart. Now, is it bullish on the daily yet? No, not for gold, not for silver yet. S&P kind of turned a nice little corner, started going up a little bit. That's why you're seeing Bitcoin pump as well, right? So what you have to understand is that a lot of these markets, they're going to move in conjunction with each other. They don't move by themselves. They move with each other. So with that being said, 113K on Bitcoin is in play. It is in play. And I'm going to tell you exactly why. There's a lot of levels that we got to get through, obviously, in between here and there, right? There's naked points of control. There's naked VWAPs. There's monthly VWAPs, things of that sort. But some of these levels have already been tapped. One thing I can tell you, there's a lot more above us than there is below us. Bitcoin is still in a bullish formation so long as we stay above about 96 grand, right? About $96,000, 96 thou wow is kind of the, that's kind of like the floor on Bitcoin right now, right? 96K. And as you can see, I mean, we went down to 99, right? So we came within what we would call Haktua spitting distance of that, right? And we'll see where we go from here, but let's just get straight into the charts, man. There's no time to waste. So this is what I'm seeing on Bitcoin right now, right? And try to keep the chart as clean as possible. I've got VWAP on here. I've got my liquidity curve. Obviously, I've got my naked points of control, things of that sort, right? The things that you need to take into account. So, excuse me. Above us, what we have is a naked point of control right here at about 104,500 bucks. Could see a little bit of resistance up there, but we took out the Trump dump low right here, and then we got right back above it, used it as support. And if you let me tell the tale, I'll show you what happened. Double bottom, SFPs of the lows. Bullish divvy, anybody? Bang, right? That's on the hourly chart. That's not bad. That's not a bad sign, okay? It's actually a really good sign, right? So what we'll have to see is, are we going to get a Wyckoff here, right? Are we going to get a Wyckoff here where we get a triple tap? Probably not. Be honest with you, probably not going to get a triple tap, but we will see. We will see. So on the way up, what we have is a naked point of control as well at about $107,500. Okay, so you're going to see resistance in a couple of different places, right? You see resistance here at about 104.5. You see resistance here at about 107.5. Obviously, you've got your nice consolidation zone up here that's got a tremendous amount of different resistances. Your monthly high, your weekly high, your weekly open, your monthly point of control, your monthly open. All of that is in this nice little box right here. But the one thing that you could also see is something like this, okay? This might go a little bit over your head, but we're going to talk about it either way. Accumulation, manipulation, distribution, the AMD model, okay? It's a very simple model to understand. You've got your accumulation, this big, massive range right here, basically the Trump dump range. You deviated outside of the Trump dump. You came back up into it. Now you're looking to fulfill this range and take this liquidity curve out, right? First target, it's very obvious. That. Second target, that. Ultimate target there, right? Very simple trades. This is what we teach, right? Inside of NORDIC Alpha. If you want to get in, first link in the description. If you're watching here on Twitter, which it seems like about a dozen of you are here on Twitter, Scroll up, you'll see it. It's the link in my bio or whatever, I guess, profile thingy. And this is what I'm seeing right now, man. Things look a lot more bullish than bearish right now for Bitcoin. It looks like we found a nice little kind of a bottom, to be honest with you. Now, let's just save this AMD model and let's get this off of here real quick. Trump. Dump. Let's get this off of here and I want to show you something, okay? We got to go to the daily chart for this, all right? Where is it? There's no way I deleted this thing. If I don't find it within the next 15 seconds, we're just going to redraw it. Yep, don't care. Going to redraw it. So here's what you can do. What the? Okay, here we go. Let's try it with a parallel. See if that works. Kind of. It doesn't work perfectly, but it works. So if you take these lows, right? Take these lows after we had our nice all-time high, and then we started to turn around, boom, right? This is your trend line on the way up, right? And like I've been saying for quite a while, right? So long as we stay above about $93,000 to $95,000, we're bullish on Bitcoin right now, man. Like there's no reason not to be, okay? Now, we do need to see a couple of things happen because I'm going to teach you just a little tidbit on market structure really quick. But just know, we are still in a downtrend on the daily. Although from an hourly's perspective, we could be starting to potentially break market structure to the upside sometime soon. We have not done that, okay? So everything is still bearish in terms of market structure wise until these parameters get met, okay? Now, let's show you what those parameters are. You had your high. This was your previous low, your previous high, right? Then you set, well, technically you didn't. You came down here, you took out that low, right? Right there, right? But this would technically not be your low because this is your lowest point, right? And then this is still your high, okay? Now, you don't come up and take anything out, but you took this out, right? So what's the lowest point in between these two? Well, it's very simple. It's right there, right? So then you took that out on the Trump dump, right? Didn't take anything out. Now you took this out on the Trump dump. So until you get back above this 116.5 level, which is what we've been talking about for a very, very long time, 116.5 is where you are breaking market structure to the upside and becoming bullish again. But, you know, if we want to be conservative and we want to be forgiving from a market structure perspective, we'll say this is the low and we don't take this into account, even though I think we should take this into account from the daily's perspective. I think we should, but you know, whatever, we're not going to, right? Then this is your new low, right? This is your new high, right? You crack that high, okay? Gives you your new low, okay? What'd you do? Came down and cracked the low. This is your high, right? So either way that you cut it, it does not matter. 116.4 is still the level. It does not matter which way you path or chart this path in market structure terms. This is your level, and it just is what it is until we get up there, right? So this is 1 day market structure shift, okay? And then what we can do is we can just double click this, add it, whoops. and bang, right? This is where you know you have a market structure shift to the upside, right? Now, this is where you know you have your market structure shift to the downside, okay? Right, huh? And it's not a market structure shift, it is a BOS, okay? That is your break of structure. So this is your high, this is your low, okay? And that's all that matters as it sits right now, okay? Now you have reclaimed the Trump dump low, and that is good news. But does that matter yet? We will see. We will see. So let's move our way down, okay? Let's move our way down. Let's go down to the 4-hour chart. And as you can see on the 4-hour, you're seeing a lot of the same, right? You're seeing a lot of the same. So let's say this is your low. This is your, this is your new low. This is your high. You break the high here. This is your new low. You break that low. This is your high. You break that low here. This is your high. Bang. Yeah. So from a 4 hours perspective, you really just got to get above here, which is a 111,200, right? And you've got the same break of structure from the 4-hour chart, which is right down here, right? Okay. So just leave that. Now let's look at the hourly, okay? Because this is where it gets a little bit more saucy, right? Where is my folder for points of control? So let's get all these off of here just really quick. That way we can have a nice clean chart. Okay. So I think we can all understand that this was our high, right? We never broke the high. What was our previous low before that? Well, this was the high that cracked the previous high. Let's see. If we start from here, nothing cracked. I mean, this one's a little bit tougher, right? This one's a little bit tougher. This was your lowest point. No, it would have been this. Okay, so where we cracked was right here. This is your highest point in between there. Where we cracked was here. This is your highest point. Where we cracked here, this is your highest point. And then where we cracked here. So your 1 hour market structure shift is actually way closer, okay? Your 1 hour market structure shift is going to be right here, okay? So from a top-down perspective, what we need to see is we need to see us getting above 104.8 first. Then we need to get above 111.2, which is a hefty place to have to get above, right? And then we have the 1 day break of structure, which is to the downside. That's for the hourly, the daily, for everything, right? Right now, that's kind of your floor, right? Is 98,888, at least on Bybit, right? USD perpetual futures, Bitcoin USDT perps, okay? That's what we're seeing. And yeah. I will take requests. I know there's a couple of people on here that already want one. Zcash, Arrow and Towel, Arrow and Tau, good God, Tau for entries. And that's BitTensor, right? So we really need to see how these levels play out, right? Where's my levels? Okay. So there's a reason why I put these lines on my chart like pretty faint so that it doesn't really muck your stuff up, but it gives you actionable places to look, right? And then bang, let's look at our market structure shifts. And we can turn those on now. Kind of gives you a nice little reasoning and basis to look at things, right? Then you've obviously got your AMD model here that shows you, hey, this is where we could be potentially going. We'll see. We'll see. So, as it sits right now, I really want to see what happens here at 104.5, which is this naked point of control, okay? And if you don't know what that naked point of control is from, it's just right here. SVP, which is Sessions Volume Profile, okay? That's all this is from, okay? Now, let's do a couple of, what do I want to see? Here's what I want to see. Bang, bang. That's what I want to see. I want to see a test of this daily VWAP, the daily point of control, and the daily open. I want to come back to it, and then I want to blast from it, okay? And I want to start taking out these levels, right? I want to start taking out all these levels on the way up. Fuck is this level? Can't even read it. Oh, it's the daily high and the VWAP. Okay. Daily high and what VWAP is it? I can't even read it. Weekly VWAP. Got it. So there's a reason why we're getting a little bit of resistance here, man. Daily or the weekly VWAP is right here. So this could be the rejection that gives us the entry to start thinking about going long here, right? So if you want those entries, get into the Nordic Alpha Private VIP trading room, man. That's where we give those entries all day, every day, right? That's where we gave our silver trades out this past week that absolutely smashed it, right? We gave out this trade, right? We just closed this out because, turned around on us. What are you going to do? I mean, it's like 2 in the morning. I don't know, man. We woke up to it and it's just like, damn. All right, we're shifting market structure back to the upside. I don't know what to do. So there's that, right? And then secondarily, we do gold analysis up in there, right? So as it sits right now, we're going to talk about gold, silver, and the S&P really quickly, and then we're going to do your crypto, I guess, requests, right? So from gold's perspective, this is your low, this is your high. Everything in between here, and I just said this on the Golden Nugget literally 30 minutes ago, right? Aired at 12:30 on this channel. Everything in between here is just chop, internal market structure, and noise, okay? There's nothing to be seen. You break below that bottom yellow line right there. You break below that, that is a that's a market structure shift to the downside. You break above the top yellow line up here, this is a break of structure to the upside. You would like to see some type of subsequent potential rejection here, a revisit to the 2.618, and then a blast off, a subsequent blast off, right? Same thing with silver, right? Silver, you are breaking market structure, like you have broke it, potentially. I don't think we broke it to the upside yet, actually. This was your low. This would have been your high. This was your previous low. Got it. Then you broke that low. Yeah, we've broken market structure to the upside. Okay. So then you come up, you crack that high right here, right? You crack that high again. Here's your low. This is your new high. Okay. You didn't crack the low. Then you cracked the high, right? Right down, right? Cracked that high. This was your new low. Boom. You blasted down. You took out that low right here. Boom. This is your new high, right? You took out that low again. Bang. This is your new high. Took it out again. Bang. Nope. Nothing there. Nothing there. So this is your low. Boom. You took it out. Yeah, this is your high right here. Market structure is a lot more complex than you would think, right? So let's zoom in. Okay, you take out the low right here. Bang. That's still your high, right? You take out the low again. Take it out again, take it out again. Boom, this is your high. Then you take out the high. This is your new low. Is that lower? No. In any case, this is technically your low, right? So your lows are right here. So everything in between here is all chop, right? So as it sits right now, gold and silver are both breaking market structure to the upside. Okay. Now, let's talk about the stock market. Because whether you like it or not, stock market will affect Bitcoin. Okay. We'll see what happens. Now, obviously, I gave people out this short in the private VIP trading room, right? And I can show it to you. We gave out this short. We gave out this short. We gave out this short, right? We gave out this short. We gave it out 4 different times. You had 4 different times to do this. I closed my short out today or yesterday when we were down here because I was in a options position that expired on Friday. And there's this thing called time decay theta that will absolutely take all the profit that you have on your option and wipe it out the closer that you run your option up to expiration. So I took my profits here, okay? Now, we go down to the hourly chart. You'll see that we have now broken market structure to the upside. This is a market structure shift to the upside. So long as we do not fall below here, the S&P is now bullish. I would be wanting to see something like this. Shoo-whoop. Boom. That's what I would want to see on the S&P, which would make Bitcoin potentially do the exact same, right? So that's what we're looking for, okay? So let's open up this. Damn. I mean, this thing's running, bro. Woo. Are you in this? Because if you are, dude, you made some good money this year, dude. Some good money. I mean, good God, man. Look at the daily on this. What happened with Zcash? What's the news? They get like some type of partnership or something? Like, what's the deal? Let me see. Because I need to know before I do this. The word cryptocurrency means hidden or secret money for most of its history. Huh. It's overtaken Monero in market cap now. It doesn't say anything. It just says highlights privacy adoption. So like from a fundamental perspective, there's nothing that made this happen? Galaxy Digital highlights a record increase in privacy usage with more ZEC held in shielded pools. Despite regulatory pressure, investors are increasing support for privacy-focused crypto. This is wild. I mean, that's crazy, bro. So here's where the trend-based fib really shines, okay? This is where the trend-based fib really shines. You draw it from this low, right, to the all-time high, to the subsequent low that came in after that, which would be probably right around there. And as you can see, you could probably be running up here to about 564, right? See how you top out at the 0.786 fib, then you use the 0.5 as support, top out again, you use the 0.618 as support, you top out at the 1.0, use the 786 as support. I would like to see a pullback first and foremost. I think you've got a pullback range down to 354, which is an absolutely astronomical downside. But I would say if you're looking to take profits, you're looking to take profits up here at $565. That's a pretty good range to say, hey, this is where we could be potentially going, right? Secondarily, just from the daily charts perspective, right? You can just draw a trend line and see, okay, connect this high to this high. And I mean, that could be bringing you up to the 2.236, man. But I would caution, because this is where the parallels will shine as well. As you can see, you are outside of the parallel. I mean, you are outside of the parallel. There's no denying that at all. So I would be watching this for a pullback, man. I would be watching this thing for a serious, maybe not a serious pullback, but some type of pullback. And I would be taking a fib range from here to here. This is your last real pullback, right? Where you got a couple of red candles, a couple of red days in a row. Okay. So I would be looking at something like this. Regular fib tool, nothing crazy. 363 to 331, right? And if you remember, that's right where I was talking about, right? 363 to 331. That's where that 1.0 is on that trend-based fib extension where I said, hey, this is where I would like to see it pull back to before you level up to the 1.618, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of liquidity to take on the way down here, right? This is all just green days. So, I mean, I might enter a short on this bad boy. You never know. You never know, right? So, okay. Check Aero, AERO. Let's save Zcash really quick too. Is this Aerodrome Finance? Yeah, I mean, this thing's in a downtrend, but it's starting to break market structure potentially to the upside. Let's run through it. Market structure. This is your high. This would have been your previous low, right? This is your new low. You crack that low here. This is your new low. This is your new high. You crack that low here. This is your new high. This is your new low. You crack the low. This is your new high, right? You didn't do anything. Then you finally cracked the high. This is your new high. And as it sits right now, you are potentially setting a higher low here. So from a market structure perspective, here's what matters. Breaking above here or breaking below here, right? As it sits, that's all that matters. I would be looking for a break of structure here and then a pullback to probably the 0.618 to start thinking about longs, right? That's what I would be looking for. I would also be looking to buy in this range right here, right? I would be looking to buy in that range from about 73 cents to about 81 cents. Depends on where you're going. Are you trading? Are you longing? Are you, just entering like long for the, how long are you looking to hold this, right? That's kind of your entry point right there. And honestly, I mean, you can do your fib here too, right? If you want real entries, you had a perfect 0.5 retrace. If you break above here, I mean, this could be a good entry point, right? This could be a good entry point because what you want to see is a break of this. Something like that, right? You've got a nice little floor. If you break up over here, this is where I'd be looking for longs. And then secondarily, I would be looking for longs above the 0.382 if you break outside of this parallel, right? But your ultimate break point is going to be the 0.5 fib. That's where you got to start thinking about longs, okay? Now, let's look at Tau. Wait, we need to go back to arrow and we need to star that. Yeah, it is. It's bit tensor. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, bit tensor is a little bit more complex, right? You are breaking market structure to the upside, but I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean. Yeah, you took this high out. This is your low. You took the high out. I mean, dude, I'm going to be honest with you. This one kind of sucks because it has a huge, huge range on it. This is your range from like here to basically here. And you're pretty close to the bottom end of it. You lose here, you got a short. If you stay here, you can think about longs, and I'll show you why. Because you're in the value area here, right? You're in the discount area down here. That's why you're bouncing from the 0.75 to the 1.0. That's where you're bouncing. I mean, this is, you could start thinking about longs in this area, 391 down to about 360, 390 something to about 360. That's what I would be seeing in terms of Tau. And I would want to see a subsequent move above this to break market structure, or not break market structure, but a break of structure to the upside for a continuation of the overall uptrend. That's really what all I would be looking for. The one bad thing that you're seeing is you had a really, really like upward sloping trajectory that you just broke, which sucks, right? And it's almost like a rising wedge that's breaking down. Okay, so you have to be cognizant of that. Now, could this be the entire measured move of that rising wedge? Yeah, it absolutely could. So it might not even be an issue. But my point is I would be, this is my area of interest right here. From about 391 to about 345-ish. Once you break down below 343, you got to start thinking about shorting, man. And I mean, you don't have to short immediately upon the break. You can wait for it to come back up, retrace, and then start shorting. But if you're looking for longs, this is your area, right? Now let's see what else we got. ETH and Solana charts, you already know. Wow, 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 wow. Came right down into our value zone that we were talking about right here. You can see it, value zone. We called this out a long, long time ago. Retraced almost 50% of that value zone, right? And, you know, that's that, man. Starting to bounce, starting to get its move up. This was a nice little rising. It was, we won't say it was rising, but it was wasn't that symmetrical either. It was just kind of like a rising triangle, right? Kind of symmetrical, but not super symmetrical. And then bang, you got your breakdown. You never got your back test on it, though. That's the one thing that sucked, right? And now you're starting to kind of bounce from it, man. For ETH, I would just be looking to regain this level right here, right? This prior support. And then I would be looking to go long. Boom, right? You come up here, this is going to be resistance. You come up here, this is going to be resistance. This is the value area high of this range, okay? You have to start thinking about what happens if you get up here, right? What happens if you get up here? What happens if you get up here? Well, same thing, most likely. That happened when you got up there the last two times. Could be a potential rejection. Could continue to run. You never know. You use it as support, back test it, bang, bang. And that's, I mean, you're playing probabilities inside of technical analysis and inside of trading. Playing probabilities, I would say that your probabilities is that if you come back and you back test those previous lows, you got a pretty high probability that you're going to catch a nice little bounce there, so long as Bitcoin is cooperating and bouncing as well. That's for ETH, right? Bang. Now, I mean, what you can also do is you can say, okay, what's this? Is this the 50% level of this run up? I almost guarantee you it is. So that retraced right back to the 0.618 of this previous fib, but I bet you if I pull another fib here, it's pretty friggin' close. Bang. 50% retrace. There's a reason why we call these levels out, my friends. This is exactly why. If you want to learn this, get into Nordic Alpha where I teach it every single day. Get one of my trainings, either the blueprint or the foundation on the Drew Wolfer website, where again, I teach this. You can learn it all at your own pace. You don't have to wait for me to come live randomly at 1 p.m. on a friggin' Wednesday. Woo! Solana got a nice little bounce here, man. I mean, you got to break up here. You got to break up here. This is your trend line downwards too, right? If you think about it, like this is it. If you can somehow break this trend line, you're looking really, really freaking good on Solana, right? So by about 2 weeks from now, if you're above this, this is looking really good for Solana. And you would like to get above this 0.382, because as it sits right now, Solana is in a very, very clear downtrend, right? And it's in a parallel too. It's very clear to see. But what do we know? Anybody that's been in any of my trainings, or anybody that's been in Nordic Alpha's private VIP trading room, or anybody that's watched these streams for long enough, what do we know about parallel channels that are moving downwards? What do we know about them, right? Give you a second to answer. Zoom in. What do we expect to happen in this parallel channel eventually? What do we expect to happen? Does anybody know? We expect this to happen. Because if you keep going down forever, you go to zero, right? And ETH is not going to zero. Not today, not tomorrow. Solana is not going to zero. Not today, not tomorrow. Bitcoin, not going to zero. Same thing with upward sloping parallels. What do we expect them to do? Break down eventually, because you can't just go up forever because you just go to infinity, right? Yep, Edu knows. He knows exactly what's up. You're actually in Nordic Alpha, so I think you know that better than most, right? So yeah, that's what we expect for the parallel channels to do, right? Now, you had a nice entry here, right? You had a nice entry here, but you also had your nice short here, right? And you were trying to write it down to these previous lows over here. You didn't quite get it. Obviously, Bitcoin turned around. That's where you got to stop out of your trade and call it a day, right? Let's look at the other usual suspects. XRP, Cardano. Look at XRP. Front running. We just gave this trade out a few days ago, actually. I think this was on the 3rd. Yeah, it was 2 days before all this stuff happened. So if we come back up here and we retest this, you got to start thinking about shorts, because this is the point of control. You are in a downtrend, right? Now, for all intents and purposes, what you're also in is a very, very horrible descending triangle. And a lot of people would say, oh, that looks bullish, Drew. That looks bullish. It's not bullish. Why? Because eventually you have to break this floor down. The more you bang on this floor, the more likely it is to break down, because you're taking all the institutional liquidity and orders that are down here, and then bang, you get below this, you got to start thinking about shorting, right? So here's your long. If you somehow get back above this, you're longing, right? If you get below it and you back test it, bang, which you're doing right now, and if you come up and back test it, you can start thinking about shorting a little bit. Secondarily, longing at the $2 range, you came down within 7 cents of it. If you got that trade, it's probably a pretty damn decent trade, right? Gave these out all ahead of time. You break below here. Obviously, you're shorting. We know that. And this trade absolutely killed it, right? Absolutely killed it. So here's your everything you need to know for the most part, right? Everything you need to know is right, You came up, you got a 0.5 retrace, immediate rejection. Now you're bouncing from the 0.236. Let's see if you can reclaim this 0.5, reclaim this trend line, because the likelihood, it's more likely to break down than it is up on this. But if Bitcoin starts pumping, these bearish charting patterns won't matter as much anymore because you already know what time it is, right? So let's see. Yeah. I mean, look at this. Look at this. 0.618 retrace. Bang. You lost it. You came down. You fully retraced the entire move. Wicked through it on the Trump dump. Came up 618. Nasty, nasty rejection. That's what I would be looking for, right? Now let's look at Cardano. Ugh. Dude, this is where it gets nasty for Cardano, man. This is where it gets nasty for Cardano. We've been talking about this for weeks. You get below this level, you got to start thinking about shorts. So you got one back test of it yesterday. You might get a second back test today. And, you know, if Cardano doesn't turn around, man, you're shorting down to at least here, 41 cents, right? And that is your previous high, and then obviously your nice little floor level support here, support, 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 and you fell through it, closed candles below it, took out those previous lows, massive downtrend. Cardano's not looking super hot right here. It's not looking super healthy. He needs some milk. And, you know, if you've got milk, give it to Cardano so that it can go and do something else. And again, remember what I just said about XRP, right? Obviously, this is a much better looking one. This is a descending triangle. It is doing what it is expected to do. Breaking down, confirming right here, confirm breakdown. You got your breakdown candle, you got your confirmation candle, you got your back test coming in here. You might get a rejection coming down here to 41 cents, right? And it could be even further than that. Your floor on Cardano right now is 32.3 cents. Anything further than that, you're looking all the way down to friggin' 24 cents. It can get worse. That's all I'm saying. It can always get worse, okay? So do with that information whatever you will. Let's look at Trump coin. Good God, man. Look how far you have to zoom out to keep this on your chart. I mean, this thing's done. You know, everybody's, oh, it's coming back, it's coming. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a meme coin, dude. It's a meme coin. And, you know, the second that Trump's not in office anymore, I don't think people are going to care about it as much, right? Now, there's a conversation to be said that Trump never leaves office because he's like, you know, he's doing some stuff right now that would make you think that he might not necessarily want to leave office. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, you could even say that you have something like this. Right? Which would be almost like pretty much a descending triangle, right? Which could break down and take you to basically nothing on Trump. So I would be watching for this right here. I would need to see a break above this for me to think anything about being bullish, right? Now, from a market structure perspective, you have broken market structure to the upside. That is the one good news, right? But this would be your trade, right? If you broke this, you'd be coming up here, try to take these highs out, okay? 4x risk to reward ratio, depending on where you set your stop loss, could be, you know, 10x risk to reward ratio. But let's zoom in, show you what I'm talking about. Yeah, you break this, I mean, bang. That's what you're looking at. But you break this, buddy. The target on that would be like 54 cents. I would say probably $2.50 would be your target, something like that. 275. Something like that. That's what I'd be seeing on Trump coin. Let's save that. WLFI. I mean, you're in the value range. You're in the discount range right now. Now, are you going to break market structure to the upside? I mean, it's going to take a while for you to do that. I can tell you that much. Now, let's say we don't take this into account. Let's say we don't take the Trump dump wick into account. We say this is your low, and then this is your high. You cracked your low here, right? Yeah, that's the first time you cracked the low. And then this is your high. So, yeah, I mean, you get back up here. You Boom. That's where you can start thinking about longs again. Where's my longs? But you're going to have to set your stop pretty tight on this, and you're riding it back up to these highs, right? That's what I would be looking for right here. But obviously, you get your rejection here, you got to short. This is what it is. If you get any sort of rejection there, dude, set your stop loss above the swing high, bring it down here to the lows. And that's just what it is. That is just what it is. Boom. I mean, if you include this, dude, I mean, nuts, right? So I would say include that, but yeah, you would like to see a bearish, like kind of like a break above this. Boom, right? I mean, even if you get an SFP up here, man, I mean, this is where you got to start thinking about shorts. That's a little bit safer of a trade, at least in my opinion, right? Something like that. It's a little bit safer of a trade. That's what I'm seeing on WLFI. Does anybody else have anything else they want me to look at? I don't mind looking at a couple of others, but if not, then I am going to get off of here and go get some other work done that I need to get done for Nordic Alpha and then obviously for verified investing too. So if you don't, I'm going to light my cigar. If you don't have anything, if you got something, drop in the comments section. Public service announcement, though. If you are here from Twitter, scroll up, man. I appreciate you. Hit the follow button. Hit the follow button on Twitter. I know people have been doing it because I see the followers going up, which is great, and I appreciate you for that. There's almost 30 people here on Twitter. Most of the audience comes from Twitter, right? Everybody on YouTube, they just show up, they get their one coin that they want me to look at, and then they leave. So, in any case, if you are here from Twitter, seriously, thank you for showing up. If you want to get into the Nordic Alpha Discord, private VIP trading room, and you want to get all of my calls every single day, every time I'm giving them out, it's the first link in the description. It is the first link on my Twitter profile as well. So with that being said, I will see you all soon. I appreciate you so much. Everybody have a wonderful day.